thousands of years, falconers have been tethering birds of prey, and for the past 10 years, so have I. But why? For a while now, I've been going through a bit of a mental journey, fighting with the fact that I've just accepted certain falconry practices that don't always make the most sense. Before we get into how I'm moving forward, let's discuss why we tether hawks in falconry. For a start, it seems like the easiest way to manage a flying hawk. When it comes time to take the hawk out to fly or hunt, you can just walk over and scoop her up off the perch, weigh her, and off you go. It makes early training a lot easier before she's manned or has any kind of relationship with you. Say you wanted a manning session, a bit of time to just sit with her and get her fed. If she's tethered, you approach. Either she will be hooded and you can just pick her up. Even if she isn't hooded, all she can do is jump in the opposite direction at the end of her tether while you go over and scoop her up onto the glove. Much easier than catching her up from an aviary every single day, right? Studies have been done that found that birds of prey in ideal situations in the wild spend up to 85% of their day just perching. They don't know when they will next get any nutrition, so why waste it randomly moving around? Falcons are some of the fastest animals on the planet, trained to fly to us. In a free-lofted aviary in flying condition, what if they smash themselves on the front of the aviary trying to get to you every time you walk past, breaking feathers and potentially causing injuries to themselves? They have scales on their legs, and their legs take all of the impact when they bind to their prey. We use kangaroo leather for jesses and anklets because it has a natural amount of stretch and give. I've had people come to me at shows and angrily shout, "That person over there has all their parrots loose, why are your birds all tied up?" To which I would reply, well, all of their wings have been clipped, so they have lost their ability to fly. My birds may have to be tethered, but they still have their ability and are flown every single day free. Which brings us on to another benefit to tethering. Within reason, it can be done wherever you need it to. Imagine you've organised a hunting trip with your mates, you've all spent the day out and about with the hawks, and then you want to sit and have some food and a drink to celebrate a successful morning's outing. Do you leave all of your hawks in their travel boxes for the rest of the day and night? Imagine you and all your mates constructing a load of aviaries everywhere you go, just for a weekend's hunting trip, and then demolishing them when it's time to go home. This is all the kind of stuff that I was taught when I started out in falconry 10 years ago, and I've been repeating it for so long that I convinced myself to believe it. It's so engraved into me that even though I'm making this video, I still can't remove the idea that there are benefits to tethering. And what's really confusing to me is that I have not tethered an owl in about 7 years, and I cringe when I see someone else do it. I've lost count of how many times I've told people the most dangerous saying in falconry is, "Why? We've always done it this way." I've just never thought to apply that to tethering until now. Now, I can't sit here and claim to you that I have miraculously come to the epiphany that there might be ways of managing raptors that have more of a welfare benefit all by myself. And what I'm about to say to you, I need you to really listen to. If you want to ignore all of my opinions, that's fine. But the laws are changing. Back in 2022 and through 2023, DEFRA, which is the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, have been in consultation on the standards of modern zoo practice for Great Britain, creating a new set of standards to replace the Secretary of State standards for modern zoo practices of 2012. This whole subject was very messy for a while, and I don't want to go over all of it in a huge amount of detail, but a quick overview is that DEFRA proposed to outright ban tethering of all forms, not just to perches. everything that includes training a bird of prey on a creance, and even just holding onto a pair of jesses whilst holding a bird. Supposedly, there was a change of staff, resulting in DEFRA skipping the stage where a new standard must be backed by science that states that the new standard will have a positive impact on welfare. Due to this, it was basically a done deal for a moment. Thankfully, enough people within the industry composed a consultation response, causing DEFRA to step back and re-look at the whole proposed standards. That doesn't mean that it's all just going away. A more likely scenario is that DEFRA will accept there is a place for tethering, but how it is used may change. No longer will it be acceptable to use tethering as a permanent housing solution, but may be used for a period during early training. Most people who watch this will likely be thinking, this is for zoos. How does this affect a private falconer? And for the time being, it doesn't. However, once it is enforced in zoos at the end of 2027, I feel like it will quickly filter down to animal activities licence holders, and then private keepers after that. It might never affect private owners. Obviously, there is no way to police it, but if it does, do you really want to suddenly have to change all of your practices because you are forced to due to the change of laws, when you could start implementing changes now at your own pace to ensure that you are well above board for when the changes are even forced upon you? So back to my opinion. Let's take another look at those reasons we tether our hawks and put them in a head-to-head with free lofting. The easiest way to manage a flying hawk. Let's test that. To be honest, this one has to go to free lofting. It makes earlier training a lot easier. Well, this is an interesting one and a topic I'm going to discuss in a future video. However, the proposed new standards will likely allow tethering for early training, so I'm going to leave this one open for the future discussions. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. They spend 85% of their day perching. If that's the case, then what's the issue of allowing them to do that in a free loft aviary? If you're so confident that a bird stands and does nothing for 85% of its time, then you shouldn't have any issues going in and getting them on the glove from a free loft aviary, just as you would a tethered bird. Having the ability to move around an aviary, jump up and down to high and low perches, keeps them active and fit, rather than just sitting and doing nothing for 85% of the time tethered to a perch. I have to give this one to free lofting. They might smash themselves on the front when you walk past. Good girl. This one has to go to free lofting. It won't damage their legs. Remember when I got a Cara? This is what tethering did to her leg. Not a problem I would have had with free lofting. Tethering over wing clipping allows them to still fly. I really disagree with clipping a bird's wings. I hate the idea of removing that bird's ability to fly. But is being tethered, sitting on the same perch, unable to move for 23 hours a day, just so they can go and fly once a day, really better than having constant free rein of a larger enclosure? Why do either of these when they could have free rein of an enclosure and still go out and fly? That's right, it doesn't have to be one or the other. Free loft. Portability. This is a tricky one. The main side of my business is to attend country fairs and other large events like that to put on flying displays with the birds. While the birds are not on flying display, they are on a static display, tethered so that the public can look at them and ask questions. For the time being, in this situation, I will still have to continue tethering. However, there is a way around this. I have friends who have a portable weathering. All the panels can be flat packed and then assembled at the event. And it might not be the size of a free loft aviary, but it does remove the necessity to tether the birds. And I have a feeling that this is the direction that I may go in the future with future events. This idea and practices is still in its infancy. It requires a large vehicle to transport it all, and they can be quite expensive compared to a perch and a set of furniture. For now, I think this one has to go to tethering. For now. So that's 5 to free lofting, 1 to tethering, and 1 that is such a large topic it needs revisiting in its own video. Just as I sometimes have to put my dogs on a lead, I still believe there is a place for tethering. And many people I know do keep their birds free lofted. But just as I have done, many people are still using tethering as a permanent housing practice. So if you're thinking of getting a hawk, or if you keep your hawks tethered, hopefully this video gives you something to think about. And having gone through the whole process of free lofting all my birds, it's really not as difficult as I was expecting. Thank you for watching.